Hello students, today we'll discuss about the matrices. So, do you know what is a matrix is? Matrix is basically the arrangement of numbers or variables in a rectangular array. When we write the arrangement in rectangular array consisting of the horizontal and vertical lines, this arrangement is known as the matrix. These horizontal lines are known as the rows and these vertical lines are known as the columns. So mathematically we write a matrix with the capital alphabet, that is capital A, capital B, capital C, etc. So we write the matrix A as, in a square bracket we write Aij, where M cross N, where M denotes the number of rows and N denotes the number of columns. Aij, what does Aij denote? Aij is the element in ith row and jth column. So basically that means when we have to write a matrix in mathematical terms, we'll write matrix by using the capital alphabet and we write in a square bracket Aij M cross N, where M denotes the number of rows, N denotes the number of columns, and Aij is the element which is in the ith row and jth column. What is the use of matrices? Why we are studying this matrix? So matrices are useful everywhere. When you want to go, suppose you want to go to a theater. You will go to the theater. How you identify your seat? In your ticket, it is written B12, C13, etc. How you identify your seat? So there are some rows and there are columns. So the sitting arrangement there is basically the matrix. So you have to identify like A, B, C, that will denote the columns, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. that will denote the element or that will denote the row. So B2, that means in bth column, second, that will be your seat. If it is written like C4, there will be somewhere your seat is. Your mobile screen is made of grid. You are using the WhatsApp. In WhatsApp, your encryption and decryption, that also involve the matrices. You all have seen that in WhatsApp it is written that your all chats are end-to-end encrypted. That encryption only involve the matrices. Without matrices, no encryption is possible. So we'll discuss how we can use matrices. So first we'll discuss about how to write the matrices, and then in the end we'll discuss what is the actual application of matrix in encryption. Okay. So now suppose we have to write an M cross N matrix. So A is a matrix of order M cross N, where there are M rows and N number of columns. So how we write it? A11, A12, A1N. So there are 1, 2 and so on N columns. And there are total 1, 2 and so on M rows. There are M rows and N columns. A11, the element in the first row and first column. A22, the element in the second row, second column. AM2, the element in the mth row, second column, and so on. So suppose if we have to write a matrix Aij of order 1 cross 2, that will be of 1 row and 2 columns. 1 row, A11, A12, the element A11 in the first row, first column, the element A12, first row, second column. So you can see here is 1 row and 1 and 2 columns. Now suppose we have to write a matrix Aij of order 2 cross 3 consisting of 2 rows and 3 columns, where the element Aij is given by I plus j. So what will be the element A11? Element in the first row, first column, 1 plus 1. I is 1, j is 1. So that will be 1 plus 1, that is 2. Then what will be the element A12? First row and second column. There are total 3 columns. So first row and second column. I is 1, j is 2. So 1 plus 2, that is 3. A13, the element in the first row and third column. So 1 plus 3, that is equals to 4. Now the second row, A to 1, the first element, second row, first column. So that will be equals to 2 plus 1, that is 3. The element in the second row and second column, that is equals to 2 plus 2, that is 4. Similarly, the element in the second row, third column, A to 3, that is 2 plus 3, that is equals to 5. So we can write the matrix 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. We have written all the elements. So this is the required matrix of order 2 cross 3. There are 2 rows and 3 columns. Now we'll discuss about the types of matrices. So there are several types of matrices. First we'll discuss based on their order. So if we have a matrix A, Aij of order m cross n, based on their order, there are two types of matrices. One is rectangular matrix and the other one is the square matrix. So rectangular matrix, as it is clear from the name itself, rectangular matrix, that means the number of rows and the number of columns are not same. So where m is not equals to n, that matrix is known as the rectangular matrix. And where m is equals to n, the number of rows is same as the number of columns, that matrix is known as the square matrix. So in this example, this matrix is a rectangular matrix. And moreover, when m is greater than n, that is there are more number of rows than the column. So in that case, that is known as the vertical matrix. And if m is less than n, that is we have less number of rows than columns, in that case that is known as the horizontal matrix. So here this is the example. If I take 1 2 3 4 5 6, you can see the order of this matrix is 3 cross 2. So this is a vertical matrix. And if I write a matrix 1 2 3 4 5 6, that is of order 2 cross 3, there are 2 rows, 3 columns. So this is a horizontal matrix. And a square matrix 1 2 3 4, that will be of order 2 cross 2. So a 2 cross 2 matrix, that is a square matrix. So based on the order, we have these two types of matrices: rectangular matrix when number of rows are not equals to number of columns, and square matrix when number of rows is equals to number of columns. Be a square matrix. Elements of the type A11, A22, ANN, these are known as the diagonal elements, and their sum is known as the trace of the matrix. So now there are several types of square matrices. Number 1, that is known as the zero matrix or the null matrix. So as it is clear from the name itself, the zero matrix or the null matrix is the matrix where all the elements of the matrix are 0. So mathematically we write the matrix 0 by symbol capital O. That will be a matrix where all elements Aij are 0. So for Aij equals to 0 for all I and j. It can be 2 cross 2, it can be 3 cross 3, it can be any order, but it should be a square matrix. So a square matrix is a null matrix or zero matrix if all the elements of the matrix are 0. Then comes identity matrix. So as in the number, you have the number 1, the scalar. So here also we have the identity matrix. We denote it by the capital I. Here all the elements are 0 except the diagonal elements. That is ai are 1, all other elements are 0. So you can see A11 is 1, A22 is 1, all other elements are 0. For I3, that is a matrix of order 3 cross 3. The diagonal elements are 1 and all other elements are 0. Then comes the scalar matrix. The scalar matrix is a matrix where it is similar type of the identity matrix, but here all the diagonal elements are same, not necessary 1. So if we have the same diagonal elements, we call that matrix as a scalar matrix. We also write it as alpha I, or somewhere it is written like lambda I. So these the matrices, these are the notations for the scalar matrix. When you multiply some scalar to the identity matrix, you will get the scalar matrix. That is all the diagonal elements are same and all other elements are 0. Now comes the diagonal matrix. So here all the elements except the diagonal are 0, but it is not necessary that diagonal elements are same. So what can you say? Every scalar matrix or the identity matrix or even the zero matrix is a diagonal matrix, because in the diagonal matrix the condition is only that all the non-diagonal entries should be 0. It doesn't say anything about the diagonal entries. These can be 0, these may not be 0. So zero matrix is also a diagonal matrix. Identity matrix is a diagonal matrix. Scalar matrix is a diagonal matrix. Now comes the upper triangular matrix. So upper triangular matrix is a matrix where all the elements below the diagonal. So you can see this is the diagonal of the matrix and below it the elements are 0. Here these are the diagonal elements and below the diagonal all the elements are 0. So if in a matrix all the elements below the diagonal 0, then that matrix is known as the upper triangular matrix. And similarly, if above the diagonal elements are 0, then that matrix is known as the lower triangular matrix. Lower triangular because below the diagonal elements are non-zero. All the elements above the diagonal are 0. And here all the elements above the diagonal are non-zero and below the diagonal are 0. Now, can you tell me what about the matrices which are both upper triangular as well as lower triangular? Think of it and tell me the answer in the comments, okay? So, if the matrix is either the upper triangular or the lower triangular, then that type of matrices are known as the triangular matrices. So, we say that a matrix is a triangular matrix if either it is the lower triangular or it is the upper triangular. Okay, so that's all.